Welcome to this year's fourth annual 360 Open Summit. I'm Graham Brookie, Director of the Atlantic Council's Digital Forensic Research Lab.
I'm Rose Jackson, the Director of DFR Lab's new Democracy and Tech Initiative.
Over the years, 360 OS has grown to include more people in more places, with participants from over 70 countries. This is the most inclusive version that we've been able to have yet. It's also our fourth annual event, but in our fifth year. Here's a few of the reasons why.
Like every commercial aired since last March said, this year was unprecedented. Thinking through the array of events over the past year can be kind of dizzying. A global pandemic, the murder of George Floyd spurring a summer of worldwide protests for accountability.
Historically devastating wildfires in Australia, and of course, murder hornets.
A coup in Myanmar.
Mass protests in Hong Kong.
US president twice impeached.
A Belarusian democratic uprising.
A Belarusian president forcing down a commercial airliner to forcibly remove a journalist.
The gutting of oil prices.
Some trade wars.
Maybe aliens.
Tiger King.
Brexit, but for real this time.
We had historically large farmers' protests in India.
The Ugandan government shuttering the internet.
The Ethiopian government shuttering the internet.
The Nigerian government banning Twitter.
The Indian government threatening to ban Twitter.
Cyber attacks on gas lines, meat producers, and just about, well, everything else.
A violent insurrection in the United States.
The assassination of Qasem Soleimani and escalations in the Middle East.
Stonks, whatever that was.
Kanye West ran for president of the United States.
Tom Hanks got COVID.
Tom Hanks also recovered from COVID.
That's fair. We also had the Beirut port explosion.
The passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Chadwick Boseman, Kobe Bryant, Alec Trebek, and close to 3.9 million people from COVID globally.
But we had multiple life-saving vaccines developed in under a year. We chose the theme, The World in Motion, to reflect the seismic shifts of the last year. COVID-19 hastened digitization and supercharged long-running trends that are upending the world.
It changed how we work and learn. It also upended decades of conventional wisdom about what is and is not changeable in our society.
It made many people question what governments can and should be able to provide. It brought home that there are fewer and fewer local problems that can be addressed without global solutions. We're in the middle of a massive global reordering. We don't know where it will go or what the world will look like, what a rising China means for the world, how the unequal availability of vaccines will impact recovery and opportunity in different countries.
Whether tech continues to bring people closer together and will help solve problems, or whether it will continue to drive divisions, and where power sits as private platforms become ubiquitous and democratic governments struggle to live up to the expectations of their citizens. Here in the United States, we have major flashpoints in disinformation fraying democratic institutions and online engagement accelerating to very real world violence, as we saw on January 6th.
We're talking about global trends and the crossroads between connective technologies and democracy. These trends affect everyone, and that means that the decisions we make right now together determine what kind of world we'll have for decades to come.
So what are we doing about it? We're gathering with experts, including journalists, researchers, government officials, and activists from across 6 continents. And we're getting together over the next 4 days for interactive lightning talks, policy discussions, keynotes, and workshops.
You'll hear about digital authoritarianism and repressive tech, the pandemic and corresponding infodemic, increasing online radicalization leading to extremism, and disinformation around the world.
You'll see panels about social media in conflict zones and war, citizen movements online, election integrity, the gaming industry, and the next big tech platforms.
We'll talk specific online harms and the universal rights they infringe upon, China's approach to tech in the world, and global regulatory efforts.
Past iterations of 360 Open Summit have focused on the fact that we're in a moment in history in which humans have more access to information and are more connected than ever before. And generally speaking, that's a good thing, but it comes with a couple bad things or negative externalities that we need to be able to solve for. Now we're talking about the dynamics between the technology that connects us and power. This is clearly a lot to do in just 4 days, and we've got a lot of work to do together over the next few days, weeks, and months in years to come, which is why last week we launched the DFR Lab's new Democracy in Tech initiative.
How we govern technology is the most urgent human rights challenge of our time. Our livelihoods, politics, our social interactions, they're mediated by platforms that have immense impact on whether the rights we expect in a democracy can exist online. With authoritarian countries putting forward a very clear and forceful vision for the digital world, it's essential that democracies find a common approach that ensures open societies sustain. And to do that means bringing together all sorts of communities that don't always work together, whether those focused on antitrust or privacy regulations, or human rights advocates focused on China and internet freedom. This new initiative will allow us to build trusted connections and drive meaningful policy change with many of you watching today.
In a few moments, we'll kick off the summit with our initiative launch event, an AC front page, Atlantic Council front page session with Catherine Maher, interviewed by Brandeis Rodney. But before we dive in, a few logistical notes to get you set up for the next few days.
360 OS is being held on the Atlantic Council's event platform called Socio, where you can watch the event, engage with the DFR Lab, and others attending the summit. You can access some of the groundbreaking work that experts are discussing and view the agenda to pick and choose which sessions you'll join. It's truly interactive.
This is a conversation, and we encourage you to participate. Comment and share on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Always tag our handle at DFR Lab, at the Atlantic Council, and be sure to use hashtag 360OS to stay up to date on all things 360 Open Summit, as well as engage online. It's my pleasure to introduce Fred Kemp, the president and CEO of the Atlantic Council, to get us started.